Elizabeth Crossing helped ease Ashland's growing pains, but it wasn't enough. The moment those new homes hit the market, they were gone. To make things worse, the price of timber continues to rise, and local mills are already at full capacity. Demand's grown faster than supply, so the city is importing extra materials just to keep construction moving. On the other side of the highway, there's still land. It's low, flat, and flood-prone. So the city is going to be opening up the land for development, but only under strict conditions. New buildings must sit on higher foundations, drainage systems must be reinforced, and green spaces are required to manage rain and flooding. To support construction, the city is also zoning new industrial land east of Rosewood for forestry and wood processing. Once it's operating, it should supply most of Ashland's timber needs and create nearly 300 jobs for poorly educated residents, those who have struggled to find work. So today, we're building out a brand new district, making sure we respect the water line, and future-proofing our forestry supply chain. Let's jump in. Welcome back to Ashland, and let's take a quick look in our production tab because I want to see something. And yeah, we have a deficit in our wood, our metal ore, and our coal, which I don't know if we'll get to all three today, but I know I at least want to do wood as a part of this expansion. And initially I was going to hold off until Bridges and Ports came out, but I figured we could probably get the bare bones in here, get a nice little community, get some transit. And speaking of transit, the thing that I'd really want to add here would be ferries, because we could either add it here, maybe even down here, and we could have them ping back and forth from the marina or even the harbor. There's so many opportunities for the ferries, and I cannot wait until they're here. Now, I've already cleared the trees, so we don't have to worry about that, but we will need some tiles, and I know tiles are getting really expensive now, so let's see how much this is going to cost, what's the damage, and it's not too bad. We might need this tile right here, but for now we'll hold off and just get these three. Now we do have some, I don't know what you call these, wetlands almost. So I want to try and respect these, and we're not going to develop on any of these areas right here. In fact, I think I'd almost like to formalize this even more by making sure that it clearly has water. All right, and I'm from the future, and that is a bad idea, and I'm not going to do it. So just pretend I never even said that. So for our forestry industry, I'm thinking it might make more sense to have it positioned in this back corner. This is where the land would be not as valuable. And actually, I'm not even sure if this area right here makes sense. I'm thinking putting it right here now. I almost think that this area would make a bit more sense. We'd have to buy the tile, but we can branch off a road from somewhere along here, maybe go at grade or bridge over it. I don't think we're going to bridge over it, to be honest. And then we could set up a little forestry industry within this area. So I just love wasting money, and let's see, 2.2 million, not too bad whatsoever. Let's get that purchased, and we're going to start in this area. Now, ironically, I will get rid of these trees just because it makes it hard to see where you're building roads and what you're doing, and we'll add them back in afterwards. Now, to start this off, I will take a gravel road. I'm going to come right about here, and I want to pull this all the way back until we get something fairly reasonable. Let's say 2% is reasonable. And so we need a hub of sorts to connect this road into, somewhere where the operations would primarily be done from. Maybe it's lodging, maybe it's somewhere you go grab your lunch. I don't know, but we need somewhere. And I'm kind of looking at this area right here because it is somewhat flat. So I think we will take this area and just fill it in a little bit more. And for now, we're just going to place a road right there, kind of like a guideline. And now we're going to grab this road right here and do a little curve in, trying to make it nice and gentle. Right now we're at 2.3%. That's not too bad whatsoever. And here comes the big decision. Do we bridge over this, or do we do an at-grade crossing? Now, part of me would think that we're probably not paying for a bridge, but I also don't want to disturb all of our trains and all of our existing infrastructure that we have. And I think really the best decision is just to connect right in. And we'll make our at-grade connection just like that. And then we're going to swing all the way over here and curve directly into this road. Now we're going to grab our forestry industry. Actually, I'm going to go in to find it. Then in Find It, I'll go into Specialized Buildings. I'll set the level to level 5, and that gives us these little hubs right here. And the goal is just to place a few of them. This one's definitely a lot more farm-like, but there's a chance we can work it in. Maybe another one of these as well. And I think something like this should do the trick. It's just a bunch of different hubs, and really the goal is just to give an illusion that there is a proper operation set up here. Now none of these have power, and I believe that's because this highway is not connected to power. So to solve the power issue, we have some electric cables down here, and conveniently they end right here. So what we can do is continue to send this further down. And then we're just going to connect that directly into there, and that should fix the power issues. Now I think I'd like to do a few adjustments to this road, so we're going to open Road Builder. And this is just essentially our 4-lane gravel road, 2 lanes going one way, 2 going the other way. Mostly just want it because it's a bit bigger. I think I'm going to upgrade this from all the way down, so we'll grab right in the middle. We'll bring this all the way down and directly into here. And now we can take our 4-lane road and really just kind of start swooping around. Doesn't exactly need to be perfect because this is the forest industry, but I think if we can do something kind of like that right there, and then maybe we'll just have branches that branch off. And then I think we'll do the exact same thing. We're going to try and find somewhere in the middle. So this is roughly 30 units. So right in the middle is 15. And there we go. We're just barely outside of our tile, but let's just pretend we aren't. Now before we do anything else, I'm wondering if we have a net lane that would just fit perfectly over this road. I'm pretty sure we do. Just one that would be really forestry-like. Now Dirt Road 12 has always kind of been my favorite, so I'm going to lean on this one pretty heavily. And we're just going to follow our dirt road all the way down. I had to use the parallel road tool because the road is just slightly too wide. Now just to make this a little bit more interesting, I think what I'm going to do is tilt some of these off to the side, place them down kind of like that. All right, and there's our last one placed. So we have a total of 7. We still need to connect a road up to this one right here. So now we just need to spread out all of our surfaces and try and get them to encompass almost this entire area. I don't really think there's going to be a place where we're not encompassing. I would like to get our wood deficit down to 0 and have a significant surplus, just because wood is a backbone between pretty much everything that's happening in Ashland. And so I need to make sure that we do have that surplus. All right, and there it is. For the most part, we're going to keep it like this. We also will have a little bit of setback from the highway. We don't want to be entirely close, but we're also not going to waste land either. As a business, we're not caring whether or not the highway is right beside us, unless we are. I'm not all that familiar with the forestry industry, mostly just taking a guess. I believe these tracks right here are primarily used for passenger, right? Oh, no, we do have some freight rail right here. This is honestly kind of perfect, because now all we have to do is create a connection directly into our terminal, and then we immediately don't have to worry about this anymore. So I think we're going to create a connection directly from here, and we're going to grab our wide alley to do this. We're going to turn off snap to zoning cell length. That way we can get directly right here. And this may be a bad idea, but I'm going to roll with it for now. We'll connect that directly into there, and I think we could probably have one more access point. Maybe that's right here. And then we can clean up most of this afterwards. For now, I'm just pretty much excited to have this cargo terminal right here because it makes all of this so much easier. Now we're going to grab one of our trees, and I think for now we're going to start with our oak. We'll grab everything from elderly all the way to sapling. We're going to turn our grid tool on, We're going to have random rotation on, and we'll also have our spacing set to a fixed length, just because I think it makes it easier in my opinion. And we'll click on one side, and we're going to pull it all the way down. And right there looks to be pretty good. And I'm thinking this one right here will be all oak, so we'll continue with our oak. And I'm trying to keep them all in straight line patterns, because as far as I recall, if they're in straight lines, it makes it easier for the extractors or the harvesters to actually go and get them. Now for this one right here, we're going to go pine. And now we have another big one right here. I think we're going to go spruce for this one. And that's kind of a far separation. Because the oaks are a lot bigger, it definitely seems like it was closer. Can we get maybe just a little bit closer? There we go. That's exactly what I want to see. And we're going to pull this all the way down until the end. Up here, we'll just go with the Californian live oaks. I like the way they look, and it just makes it a little bit different. I'm going to swap this back to 10. Now I think down here, I'm going to swap back to spruces. Oh wait, we don't even own this tile. I'm not going to swap to anything because we don't own the tile. So instead, I'll swap back to pines right here. And let's see how close this needs to be. I think 6.3 meters is pretty reasonable. And last but not least, we have this little section right here. Maybe we'll just go with some more pines. It's pretty much the only thing we don't have more of. We have 2 sets of spruce, 3 sets of oak. So yeah, definitely a little bit more pine. And I totally forgot that you need money to pay for trees. We are out of money. So while we wait for that, let's get working on something else. All right, so I can probably imagine that this company right here would probably have some sort of main office. And there's really only 2 places we could put it. One would be on this side of the road and the other would be right here. But I think it would make the most sense to have that office building be right here, just because we would probably have storage within this area. I imagine that's pretty much where all of this would be stored actually. Either that or directly in the cargo terminal, but I'm not really seeing all that much room for how much wood we'd be processing here. So I think what we can do in the meantime, while we wait for our money to come back up, is to make a little main office right here. And we're going to start by getting rid of all these trees. Now taking a look at this area, it is somewhat steep. So maybe what we'll want to do is grab roughly right here and just push it back a tiny bit. And now we'll need some sort of main building. And I like this one. So I'm going to quickly pause the game, place that one down. I also kind of like this one right here too. There's even an option to use one of the signature buildings. We'd have to change the color, so let's quickly check to see if that's even possible, and it is possible. So what if we made it brown? Yeah, I don't think that's brown. But if we just made it a nice little white color, in fact, maybe we can even smash a few of these together. And then what if we just painted the color onto it? And all we have to do is get rid of these hedges right here. And yeah, I think that can be our little forest office building. So let's delete these 2. And then we'll grab these 2 and just move them back a bit. And to make it a bit more interesting, we'll kind of put them on an angle. And now we're going to take our wide alley, and I'm going to turn on snap to the sides of a building. That way I can go directly at a 90 towards this building right here. Again, we're going to curve into this building right here. All right, nice little curve. And then we'll swap to this side and connect this one in as well. Okay, there we go. Now all we're missing is a giant parking lot, because I don't know where you live if you're over here. I guess you could live right here. I don't know if you want to, but you could. So we will put a parking lot in here so people can travel all the way down here. If we turn off snap to zoning cell length and we turn parallel mode on and we set it to 0.25 units, maybe we can get something kind of like this right here. But I feel like I'd want the people to enter from this road. So can we do a nice little curve into here? Now what about one more? And that one is definitely a bit broke. Actually, they're all a bit broke, aren't they? Oh wow, that's bad. That's really bad. I'm hoping if we use manipulation mode, we can clean this up a bit. I hope so. If you ignore the accordion parking, which I don't even understand why it's doing this, or if it'll fix itself, I think it will, but if you ignore it, it's not too bad. And then maybe this parking right here would kind of be for your top brass executives. They're the people running the show, or at least the ones who think they're running the show. And with that, I think we have enough money to finally finish off our trees. So let's extend this all the way down. Still a little bit more room to place some trees, so in the meantime, again, we're gonna focus on something else. Over here in this little spot, we're definitely gonna need somewhere to store all of this this wood that we're harvesting, so let's get rid of these trees. And I wanna get a surface in here, but I honestly cannot remember which one I used over here, so let's go take a quick peek. And it seems like I didn't use a surface. Interesting. I used a mix of the net lanes and whatever this surface is. So this is the soil surface. Okay, so we'll bring this all the way over here and we'll get this placed in for now. I feel like that does not look the same, not even close. I think this might be the one we go with. It's either that or one of these small pebble surfaces, and I think I like the small pebble surface the most. Now all we have to do is bring some net lanes into this area, have them branch off, and then have areas for storage for our wood. I'm gonna grab our 4-lane gravel road, and this way we can come right back here, directly at this spot, and we'll go up roughly 13 units, and we're gonna snap back onto this one, except for I think we may need to upgrade this. And then we're going to continue this one straight. And actually, we might as well just go all the way down. And then as we get to roughly right about here, we'll swap our angle and start to curve in. And now I'm just going to quickly add our net lanes back over it. All right, and that's pretty much as perfect as I'm going to get this little area. So let's swap over to our actual storage. And it looks like the ground isn't perfectly flat here. I don't know how I didn't realize that, but because it's not perfectly flat, the props are gonna have to either go above the ground slightly, or they're gonna have to sink slightly in the ground. I think that looks pretty good. I don't think I have to feel too conscious about that. Anyways, we finally have the money. Let's get the trees in. And I think honestly, I'm just gonna swap it up to oaks. I'd like to see just a little bit of variation. Okay, it feels good to finally have those trees in. Let's take a look and see how some of these are operating. So, 41 employees, not too bad. 138% efficiency, you'll love to see it. Tons of employees here again, tons of raw materials. I feel like we may need to focus on processing some of these raw materials. Let's actually just go and see our overall production. So we're producing 87 tons per month, and we now have a surplus of 38 tons. That's perfect. I don't think I could ask for anything more than that. Now I'm going to quickly finish off this little storage area. I don't really think there's going to be too much else to do in this area. Once that's done, we're ready to move on and start expanding into this. All right, this area kind of has some key things about it that we need to go over. Specifically, starting with this key wall over here, I almost feel like we should continue it, and I want to, but the other part of me knows that something better must be coming in bridges and ports, and so I don't want to have to redo the work. That's actually why I haven't placed boats over here. I have been waiting patiently for bridges and ports. In fact, I was going to do the marina way earlier, but I will add boats to the marina once bridges and ports is out. Just don't want to have to add them in and then redelete them. And right here, I really want to continue this quay wall, but also at the same time, there's one big thing that I want to do here first, and that is make somewhat of a boat launch. And there's definitely a few ways to go about this, but I'm looking at this area right here, and it kind of seems like it's going to be the best. Either that or over here by our bridge. I think if I can, I don't want to disturb this too much. So maybe I'll make the boat launch. Maybe I'll make the boat launch right here. I kind of like that idea. So we're going to start by grabbing our alleyway, and we're going to use the wide alley. We're going to bring that all the way down to right about here. And I think as long as we grab these, we should be fine. And then we're just going to lower this all the way down. And maybe something like that. Let's deselect it and take a look. Definitely still needs a little bit more love, so let's drop this node down even further. I think that works pretty well. Now my question is, could I add a retaining wall to the side of this? I kind of like that. My thought process is that it's essentially acting as a channel for the boats to go in. So we're going to grab our alley, and we're just going to go out another 6 units. I think that should be fine. Everything else we can worry about after. Now we're going to need a main road for this little area right here. And yeah, because we don't want any parking on this road, I think I'm just going to go with the 4-lane boulevard. Really, I want to be careful of 2 things. The bridge, people zooming down it, and also the highway, people zooming off of it. This is essentially going to be an arterial. And because we have our highway and because we have this 4-lane, we will keep the lights. And then from here, I think what we're going to do is we need to be careful of the little water spots. We're going to plow right through this hill. Or I think we just actually went up it. I'm not against it. Yeah, we could totally go up it. If we swap this to bridge, is that enough room to get a little bit of development under there? No, it's not even close. Yeah, that's not even close. And I think we're going to curve alongside here instead. And then the question is where is this road going? We could connect in with our other main road. Probably could see it happening given that we have our train station right here. So let's do it. So from right here, we'll go up about, let's see, maybe 20 units. Negative 2.5% is fairly reasonable. And that should give us a good amount of time to bend over. And we can see that this spot right here, it's underneath the water line. So we're going to bring that up just a little bit. Perfect. Now from back here, we're going to pull this down a little bit more. And I think what we'll do is we'll mirror our train tracks right here. So we're going to take a point, any point, and we're going to go out until we get the guideline for this road right here, 13.75. Let's call it 15. And we'll also pull from this one as well. So at a 90, 15. And now we can go at a 90 one more time and connect directly into this point right here. We'll delete our 2 little stubs, and I feel like we might have to pull this back just a bit, so we'll go a little bit further back. Now we'll send this one a little bit further down. We'll need to do some work because it's underneath the water line. We'll get a nice little curve into this road. And last but not least, we have this one right here. We'll get another nice curve. And then this spot right here needs a little bit of love. And then we just have this spot right here. So we're going to grab all of these nodes as well and just push them up. And then we'll check back one more time, and there we go. So now our road is not underneath the water whatsoever. Now our biggest goal for building the grid right here is we're going to respect this water line. Properties are not going to sell if they're at risk of flooding. Well, I don't think they're going to sell. I imagine that insurance companies are not going to insure you, so people are not going to want to buy that property. So because of that, we need to be pretty careful with this. and I think we're going to work our way around the water line as much as possible. And really this area looks like a few different communities to me. We would probably have one community over here, then maybe one alongside right here, and then probably the last one would be over here. So let's get started on the easiest one first, and that's going to be this one right here. It's going to be rough because we're going to have to pull a lot of connections from this highway road, which I really wanted to avoid if I could. But if we can't, then we can't. And there's going to be another big thing about this area. It's that we want to make sure we're trying to minimize the amount of intersections, especially near this area. We already have 2 of them, and this one's really important. This one, not so much, except for it carries our trams, and that's pretty important. So from this road right here, we're going to use this as a measuring post, and we're going to go about 20 units out, then we'll connect in. We'll delete that road right there, and now we have our measurement. And I'm going to pull this the opposite way, just so I can delete this one, and that doesn't look all that straight. So we're going to start by pulling this all the way down. Let's go 50 units. And then on this side as well, we're going to grab this alleyway right here. And why does this alleyway even connect into this road? This alleyway should definitely not connect into here. I don't know how what is going on? Why is this connected in there? Why? Okay, let's delete the water here. And I'm confused on what this is delivering water to. But we're going to continue it down anyways, just in case. We'll stop right there, and let's just make sure everything is going to work. Okay, and I'm not seeing any conflicts, so we're going to continue. Now, like I did last time, I kind of want to mirror this road. And how far did we go out? About 10 units. So we're going to go at 10 units as well. And I noticed we use the urban boulevard for this. I'm kind of tempted to replicate that same look, but on this side. So we'll grab our urban boulevard, and this time let's make sure it's 10 units out. There we go. And now we're just going to send this all the way across to connect directly into that road right there. And now we'll grab our 2-lane road and connect directly into here. It's a pretty decent grade, negative 5.1%, so not ideal, especially on an intersection like this. And I don't even know what this intersection is. Let's see if we can't fix this. Oh, where are you going? No. Okay, let's just delete this because I don't like what's going on here. And just deleting it seemed to fix it, so I think that's my cue to stop messing with it. Instead, we're going to grab this road right here, and we're going to curve around this because we might as well. It's not a very big hill, but it is a hill, and it helps make our grid look a little bit more unique. So we'll do something like that right there. And then again, we want to maintain our 10 units, so let's grab this road, let's pull out 10 units, then we'll send this portion into our 2-lane down here. And last but not least, we'll connect directly in and delete this little leftover piece. And now we have our core components for our grid. Let's start building it a little bit. And we're going to start right here wherever the grid breaks, and that's right here. We're going to swap back down to our 2-lane road. We're going to go up 10 units. So before we continue building the grid, I want to think about what assets we want to get in here. And I'm definitely thinking about using the waterfront assets. I mean, I never use them, so I might as well use them here. And I want to know what is the biggest grid size that we would need. And these are both 5 depth, which means our grids would need to be 12 units long, which is pretty big. I don't know if we'll do that for the entire way, but maybe we'll do that for a little bit. So I think we'll start right here, and we'll go 12 units up, and then let's go 18 units over. Oh yeah, this is definitely a big one. This is a big one. Again, we'll go 18 units over. And actually, let's take a look to see where our grid breaks, and it breaks right here. So we'll chop that piece off. We'll come to this side and figure out where our grid breaks as well, and roughly right about here. And now we're going to curve these two in together, trying to mirror this right here. And then this is perfectly 18. And then we'll connect this one all the way down. Now down here, this one's going to be a little bit more tricky to mirror, but I still want to give it a shot. So again, the grid breaks right here. We'll go up 12 units, and we're going to send this down 18. And then I think we should just be able to complex curve our way into this little road right here. And it's not perfect, but it is close, so we'll take it. We'll connect that back in. And for the most part, the rest of this is fairly straight, so let's just connect directly in. And that right there splits our grid up into 18. All right, now before we move on to what we're gonna do with over here, let's just finish our grid over here. It's gonna be the exact same thing. Okay, and this is pretty much where we'll leave off this area for now. Not too much land that we can work with. Maybe we could come down here just a little bit and have some smaller properties. And then we'll add a little cul-de-sac with a tree there. And you know what, maybe one right there too. And then down here, we will fill in this little spot right here and continue our grid. We'll extend this one just a little bit, and then we'll add a little cul-de-sac. And that's pretty much gonna be the extent of this grid over here. Not too much more we can do, although maybe right here what we have is a little bridge instead. I think I'd rather see that. So if we go up just the tiniest bit, I think something kind of like this right here should help us clear that potential flooding, but also get us over this little potential water area, because I feel like we would want to connect these two areas in anyways. Now we'll curve around this area right here, and let's swap this to ground. I'd like to make sure that we don't use this space. So for now, I'm just gonna put a few trees around it. And we have this little section right here. I'm just gonna quickly cover this up with this water surface right here. It's gonna look a bit rough until we detail, but at least we'll know where all of our issues are. Same with this one right here. And now we're gonna grab from right about here. We're gonna send this up. Actually, we may have to go over just a little bit more, because if we're gonna zone this area out, then we need to be careful. And we'll go to right about there, and we're gonna try and remain one blue circle away. I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to do it, but I'm gonna try. So we'll do something like that right there. And then from this road right here, we'll pull. We're gonna remain our one full circle, and I immediately wanna curve in to connect directly into this road right here. And maybe if we're lucky, we can do a little bit more zoning there. I don't think so, but we can always try. And then we'll grab this road right here, and we'll do a nice gentle little curve in. And then arbitrarily, I'm just gonna grab directly from the middle, and I'm also gonna connect into this road. And I think that's gonna be it for this area right here. Now I would like to do something with our piers here. I'm not entirely sure what yet. I was thinking maybe we could connect up to this quay wall right here and then just continue it further down. So it continues kind of on like that for a bit. And then we want to get closer to the ground and do something a bit more like this. And then just send this all the way down. We're going to meet up with our boat launch. And I'm going to pretend that these are stairs in the land of imagination. And then you can come and watch the boats get launched. I don't think that's high enough though. Actually, maybe. Yeah, you know what? I think that's pretty high. I don't think any big ships are going to be getting launched from here. I think it's going to be really all basic stuff. So then we're going to drop our height all the way back down, trying to mirror what we did on the other side. Something like that right there. And I think that's kind of where we'll end this. So we'll swap back to our normal pedestrian path. Now this doesn't really feel like a boat launch to me. It feels more like a water channel. Either way, we need to get rid of all of these pillars down here. All right, now I'm gonna go through with Zone Controller and just clean up all of the zoning, trying to get it to front the streets that we want it to front. All right, now with our North American low density waterfront housing, I'm just gonna start placing this in, seeing how it fills out. I'm really hoping it comes out the way I envision it. And while I was zoning, we unlocked a new signature building, the Architect's Mansion. Let's go take a look at it and see if it has a place somewhere in here. And I feel like it can definitely fit somewhere in here. maybe we place that off to the side over here. We'll need to do a little bit of work, just a tiny bit. And then what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna align this further back to the hill, kind of like this right here. We're gonna take our alleyway and just connect it directly in. We'll have a little cul-de-sac at the end right there. I noticed we also have our real estate's mansion. Do we have any more that we could place in? We do have quite a few. I think we'll also get our architect's mansion in there as well. Maybe the Atkin Palmer mansion. We'll place that right there. And then we do have our UK executive mansion, and I feel like this could fit in definitely for sure. Maybe right about here. And then I have no idea what it's like to be these people, but I can imagine that they would be crazy about privacy. So let's get a nice thick shield of trees and landscaping to help separate their properties from everything else. Kind of just like that right there for now. We'll do more once we detail, but for now I think this little area should be fine. All right, now we need a district. Now we have a few more areas that we can fill in, so let's turn our zoning back on these roads right here. We can't fill in this area because it's pretty much a hill, and unless we're going up it, even then, yeah, we're not even gonna worry about that. We will fill in this area right here. We'll take our alleyway and we're gonna send that, let's say just 10 units down. I don't wanna get too close to this road because it would be pretty noisy. And we'll just do kind of like a curve like that. And then on this side, we'll just connect directly into our road right here. And this area is somewhat hilly, so we will add a retaining wall. And we're gonna take that retaining wall and just push it up just a tiny bit. And then we'll slope up to our retaining wall. All right, now we just gotta fill everything in. And then right here, we're only gonna go about 3 units deep. I think any deeper might create a few conflicts, and we will connect this alleyway into this road. It's a bit funky, but it should be fine. And this person's waiting for an ambulance, and that makes perfect sense. Let's grab our hospital and set it to operate in this area as well. And what does their route look like? They'd probably either go this way, hop into our main 4-lane, and then come in, which is still a decent drive, or they're gonna come from the hospital, they'll turn roughly this way, go down this road. Yeah, I feel like we need another connection in here. We can't do this one because it's our hill, but maybe we could do this one right here. Now we should still have tons of capacity from all of our schools in this area, and yep, 237 out of 1,950. That was such a bad overestimation on my part. And what about our elementary school? And yeah, we still got a good amount of capacity. Let's take a quick look to see how many children are actually even in this district. Only 180. That's not a lot. So this school can definitely take care of them. In an ideal City Skylines 2 world, we would have bus assets and we would just create a bus route. Now I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a pedestrian overpass. So we're gonna take a bunch of these houses and just scoot them over. And that was not permission for you to fill in. Okay, then we'll level out to roughly right about here. And yeah, that's a bit rough. We're gonna have to increase our height like crazy. So we wanna try and get right in the middle. So from right here, we're gonna start our connection and we're gonna go up. I'm gonna turn off ground mode and then we're gonna go up. And it's gonna be rough no matter which way I swing this because we still need to get over the highway too. So we'll start by going roughly 9%. And I think we'll have to imagine that these are stairs because I don't really see another way around it. And it seems like this height right here, roughly 8.7 meters, would give us exactly what we need. It's a bit dramatic, but I think it should be fine. We're gonna see how it looks once we actually get this in. Negative 17%, definitely not something to write home about. And what about right here? This one's gonna be pretty rough too. So I think what we'll do instead is we'll curve in and let's set our height to about 5 meters. That gives us something reasonable at least. Then we'll drop all the way back down to 0. And can we get a nice little curve in? Kind of. And that will be our stairs. Oh, those are awful. I'm just gonna ignore it though. I'm just gonna ignore it. Pretend with me that they're good. Okay, now this area only has 1,000 residents. That's really not enough to be getting their own full services. So we will just be borrowing the services from this area. That includes police. That also includes post, and will also include fire into the mix. And our fire was mainly over here anyways. And aside from mailboxes, I believe that's everything. So let's quickly add these in. All right, and that's our post. We're gonna keep it super basic for now. Okay, now we're gonna do a bit of redevelopment already. And I'm looking at this spot right here, thinking it's not too bad for a bit of density, maybe even right here too. And then we could also have a few shops somewhere in the area. So starting right here, I wanna find a few different buildings that I think could be a good fit. And I think if we just take a few of these, kind of place them willy-nilly and essentially let the building dictate where the road will go, I think it should help us end up with something pretty unique. And maybe on this little hill right here, we have one that's slightly higher than all the other ones. And essentially all I'm doing is just snapping to the front of the building, and then I was using the continuous curve tool to just kind of wiggle my way around it. I'm surprised it turned out as well as it did. I think this one right here could get pulled back just a bit, and we could reorientate this road to meet the ending point. And then we'll just put a little path through here. Just a nice little walking path. Nothing crazy whatsoever. We'll throw a few trees down. And then we need some parks, because no matter where we are, we still need parks. And I can imagine this being kind of a rich retiree area. So we'll definitely get a dog park somewhere alongside here. And I don't really think it matters where it goes, because the land wouldn't be used for actual building and construction. So I think it's okay if we kind of place it inside our water line. Maybe we have another dog park right over here. Maybe we just go crazy with dog parks. And it almost looks like we could develop this land if we tried hard enough. So I'm gonna try a bit harder. And if we send that through, it seems like it still wants to flood. All we have to do is just give this a nice little bump up, because this land is still pretty solid. It's just the rest of the land that isn't as good. So we just need to get a little bit creative here. So we'll send one road out that way, and then we'll have this road continue all the way down, and it'll branch off that way, and then this one will branch off that way. Then all we have to do is connect back in, and there's a bunch more development. We will need to get these all set to a higher height, and I believe that right there should fix any issues we were having, and yes, it does. Now we just need to get a few small buildings around here, and I think if we use our row homes, we could probably get something pretty nice. And I'm also looking at this one too. I feel like this one's pretty decent opportunity for development. I don't think I want to pull from this road though. I'd rather give them their own dedicated road. They're already in a pretty interesting spot. So we'll do something more like that. Give them their own dedicated road. Connect that directly in. Did I just completely ignore that this entire area was a flood area? I kind of did ignore it, but I'm gonna say that this area in specific has someone who's a bit risky, and we're gonna get something a bit more substantial down here. Oh, I forgot these buildings have the garages. That's fine, because I think we can do something like this anyways. I gave them 2 units of separation. They are mixed use, and I did change the road just a little bit. That way these buildings would front the water. I think I will take this little bit of water right here though, and just push it through even more. There we go, just to make it a bit more obvious that this is indeed water. There is something here. There's a reason why we're going around it instead of just through it. I think that looks a lot nicer. In fact, if we wanted to get even more crazy, we could do that with this as well. And again, I think I am tempted to do it. All right, and there we go. Okay, I think that's a much needed improvement. Now you can actually tell there's a reason why we're doing all this crazy stuff. Otherwise, you couldn't really tell before. I think right here we'll have a few more row homes just to finish this little area off. And I think we're going to try and swap out their style every now and then. And I totally forgot about these buildings right here. These are pretty much a perfect fit for anything we do. So maybe we have a few of them kind of around this area right here. So we'll place one right there for now, and then another one on this side. And we're gonna leave it there for now. And I think we're just gonna place two of these right here, pull them back a bit, pretty much call it right there. Maybe we can have a few more buildings down here, but I wanna start thinking about these ones. So first, I'm gonna run an alleyway behind these two buildings. And now we're going to connect these two in, and I want to have a pedestrian road front this building instead. So we'll grab our one-way pedestrian street, and we're going to connect this all the way around the front right here. I think that's pretty cool. I like having the pedestrian path front to water. Now we're going to have this alleyway connect into two different areas. The first one will be probably this road or this connection right here. And then this one right here, we're gonna curve around our water line. Definitely looks a bit interesting. It looks like we have a fire. Are they gonna make it in time? Oh, they're gonna send the helicopter. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And as more catches fire, we just barely make it. Very interesting. Okay, now we'll have to give parking for some of these buildings right here. I believe the row homes have their own parking. Yes, they do. These buildings seem like they have a garage right there. No, that's not a garage. Okay, that's just a door. And these buildings have parking as well. And so do these ones too. So we don't have to worry about any of these buildings right here. These buildings also have parking, so we don't need to worry about these ones. It just seems like these ones right here don't have any parking. And I'm trying to think about the best place to put this parking. It's definitely not going to be enough. Honestly, the most undisturbing place that I can think of would probably be right there. I wouldn't put it here, because if you're in your pool, you're enjoying a nice little swim, and next thing you know, there's a bunch of people parking behind you. I feel like that would be awful. Aside from these buildings, I think the only other buildings would be these ones right here. I'm not seeing any parking in them, so let's get some added. I don't want to clog up our waterfront, so maybe we can add a somewhat decent sized parking lot right here. Okay, and then there's our parking for these two buildings. All right, now I believe it was the parks that got me off track, so time to get back on track and finish off our parks. So we had a dog park there. We had another dog park somewhere around this area. And I think we're gonna have another one. And let's do that. Let's do that right over here somewhere. On this corner, I think would work pretty well. So we'll have one dog park there. And can we fit a small playground in here? Yes, we can. We'll also get a small playground. And again, this is land that can easily flood. So we're gonna place a park here. And really, I think my dream with this area would have been to turn it into a plaza instead of having everything attached to the road. Maybe one day though. All right, and that's going to be pretty much all of our residential zoning. Let's swap to commercial because we definitely need some. And right now, the only commercial in this entire area is in these three buildings. So that's not going to cut it. I think we could probably have some right here. We need to reset our zoning though, so let's turn the zoning off from this street and this street. And I think we're gonna go with southwest. We'll go too deep, and that should give us one of those something like that right there. I think that's almost appropriate. And then I think we'll also use some European low density commercial, and we'll just slap that in right here. and definitely some here as well. I don't exactly want to see gas stations, and that's really all we're seeing, so I'm gonna get rid of those, and hopefully something else will pop up. Nope, gas station, gas station. Okay, we'll brute force this. Okay, now all we have left is just to finish off this little outside area right here. Okay, and we're going to primarily use our UK low density detached housing. And we're just going to pretty much just slap this all around this area. If any zoning will go in our arterial, it'll be commercial or office. All right, and that's going to be it for zoning. I feel like we got most of the land that we could. I mean, there was definitely some questionable cases that I may or may not have went through with, but yeah, I think we got most of it. Now, I think really all that's left to do is just to clean this area up, make it look nice, make it feel integrated with everything else. And yeah, so let's jump into detailing. We're finally done detailing, and I am excited with how it turned out. I actually really like it. I decided to swap a lot of these roads for these more suburban roads. Only difference being from the normal 2-lane is that they don't have markings and they have grass and trees. I think it just makes it look a little less in your face, I guess, to put it. Down here, we ended up getting a bit of commercial. I think there's a little bit more down here. I put a gas station here as well. And yeah, some more commercial right alongside here. We don't own this tile right here. And honestly, it's kind of expensive and we can't afford it yet. So we're gonna hold off. For now, some trees will do. For these more fancy homes, or I guess the richer people, all I did was just put a bunch of trees around. My thought process being is that these people probably want as much privacy as possible, and I almost didn't put this path through here, but I was like, no, we need the path. The only thing I wish was that the hill was a bit more prominent. Even without the trees, it doesn't even look like there's a hill. I kinda wish there was just a way to make this hill stand out a little bit more. And for these two buildings right here, I decided to add a nice little restaurant right in the middle. Kind of feels fitting. It's maybe not as fancy as I'd expect to see here, but still, I do like it. And then for the water, there was a mix between this riverbed dark texture surface pretty much all the way around it, just to kind of change things up a little bit. I really like how it turned out here. On this side, I clearly didn't do it. I wanted there to be a few differences between each area, and so I figured just kind of swapping those textures up would achieve that. Right here, I just went through and plopped level 5s just to see what they would look like, and it's definitely going to look better once they level up. Right now, it kind of just looks like a sea of trailer homes, which is a bit odd given the area, but once all this levels up, it'll be a lot nicer. For all the paths around here, I decided to go with dirt paths, thinking that if this area were to ever flood, or if the water level rises just a little bit more, it's not too big of a deal because they're just dirt paths. And the rest of the area didn't really do all that much. It's mostly just kind of making it feel real, feel integrated. Down here, I kind of started to see this was almost like an industrial feeling that I was getting. So I decided to rough up the area just a little bit more. I'm not entirely sold on these bushes yet, but I think it's fine for now. Overall, super happy with how this area turned out. I really like it. It feels like it integrates so cleanly into this area. Now, we have one big fix we need to go make, and that is over here by our train station. Now, for some reason, I decided it would be a great idea to move the train station all the way back, instead of just putting it pretty much right beside this extra track right here. And by doing this, I'm essentially making it more difficult for the trains to come in and then leave. So all we're gonna do is delete these tracks right here, push the train station back the slightest bit, and then reconnect everything back in. Okay, and that should clean up this train station pretty heavily. The road right here is a bit rough. I'll probably fix it at a later date. We will need to remove these lights though, because it's just nonsensical. Now down here, we're just gonna upgrade this to a 4-lane as well. And let's just take a look and see how that comes out. Not too bad. It's definitely a lot more straight. I think the only difference we could probably make here is to move the bus stop to the inside, and everything should be working pretty well now. And then right in the middle, we'll just throw a couple trees down. There we go. Just keep it nice and simple. Then taking a look at our unemployment, we have 4.8%, which honestly, it's getting better. It's definitely not too bad now. Anything above 5, I'm starting to panic. Anything below 5, I can live with. And then for these last 3 plots, I don't really want to think about this area anymore. I just kind of want to get it done. And for the most part, I think we're just going to put some residential in here. We have a lot of services. We have tons of jobs. We only have 6,000 residents or 3,000 adults. So I definitely think it makes sense just to fill this area in and then move on. All right, and that completes this area. I put a bunch of commercial in this little sector right here, right near our marketplace, or to me it looks more like a Costco or a grocery store. So we have a bunch more commercial here now. And yeah, let's jump into a quick before and after. And that is a wrap. Really hope you enjoyed. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. As always, super big shout out to our amazing Patreon members, Jake Hill, Gary Key, Deku, Ganger, Griffin, Delpha Supreme, Javante Mormon, and Mihai B. If you want to help support the channel or just check out Ashland for yourself, head over to Patreon. If you haven't already, a like, comment, and subscription go a really long way. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one.